Howdy, I'm Tracy Compton. We're gonna tie tonight the Compton Crawfish, which I've got a sample of. It's a crayfish pattern that I designed when I was about 14 for smallmouth. We're gonna use a mustad size 2 hook, and we'll get our thread attached here.
Well, then never mind. Yeah.
And since we're going on the bottom, I'm using a chunk of either 24 or 30 pound test for a weed guard. We'll put that in first.
We'll catch you later.
Yeah, I've always, the black ones have always been my go-to, and the red ones, on occasion.
First, imitate the antenna coming out front, so we could either use wood duck or mallard. If you got mallard, use it, because we're going to touch it up with a brown Sharpie at the end, and mallard's a lot cheaper than wood duck. That'll be tied off the back.
Have you ever tied it with, I'm sorry, have you ever tied it with the red wire?
And the shell that we'll be using is a brown colored Swiss straw. So I'm going to cut a long enough chunk of this that will go from the top to back, and then we can cut our tail out of this also. So it's going to be attached out the front, then bent over the fly at a later date. Plastic eyeballs, we'll cut one of these off, and like a dumbbell, we'll put him back almost a 1/4 inch from the front. Do a little figure 8 and attach him real good. Okay, now I'm just going to bulk up the head. We're going to use some red squirrel tail for the pincers. So I'm going to pull out 2 batches. And we could put it into a hair stacker and get them perfect, but this will be close enough. And I'm going to attach him back again about an 1/8 inch behind the eyes. Once we get attached to the shank, then I'm going to go up onto it a little bit so they stay together real well. So now I'm just going to wrap around the pincer. Hold it out. Get a few wraps right near the shank of the hook. But I'm just wrapping around the squirrel right now. There we go. Okay, there's one pincer. Go for number 2.
Waiting for white horses. Is that it? How about
okay, same thing on this side. We'll again tie it to the shank about a strong 1/8 behind the eyes.
Oh, is that right? Big old? Yeah. We talked some big old, the big salmon boats.
And here again, I want to go around just around the squirrel to keep those pincers together.
I've been there.
Okay. Quite a few times. Right by the dam and down by the rocks.
Okay.
Oh, you do? Yeah, we always do. We always do. It's been gone.
There we go. Now we'll fill in a little bit more with the chenille.
I don't think we're going to go high.
Is that Sandy Leno's husband?
That's their plan.
Sandy Leno's husband, Bill? Yeah, I know.
Quite interesting.
And now I'll cut off the excess.
I went there.
Now, right behind the eyes, now we're going to put the legs in, and the shell eventually will come back between the eyes, and it's going to cover, it's kind of in two sections. It's going to cover the whole head and the legs, and then it'll form the abdomen. So at this point, we want to get in our legs, which we'll use a brown hackle. Tie him in. And also at this point, I've still got a few. There we go. At this point, we're also going to add some ultra wire, some brown ultra wire, which will form the segments of our abdomen.
Yeah, I think
So I'll attach him in. And depending on your conditions, if it's lakes or streams or whatever, we might want to add a little bit of our lead-free wire.
good. It's weird. That'll go away though. What size lead is that?
This is a 25.
Yeah.
And lead-free wire. Okay, we'll attach it down. Now all the action will be heading back, so we'll add a little, bring our chenille back, add a little weight to that, and now we'll take our hackle. And for the legs, really you only need about 3 wraps. As you know, they don't have a heck of a lot of legs. And this is just representing the legs, so you don't want to make it too thick. So 3-4 wraps at most would be plenty. Okay. Now I'm going to bring the thread back, because our wire that we've added on will form the segment part of the abdomen. So now, going to continue our chenille to the back. And tie it off. And we'll take care of it. Okay, now the shell that we added way up front is going to run between the eyes, and after the let's see, I got to bring this wire back right behind the legs. So that's going to be 2 parts. We're going to have a front part here, and then we'll segment the rest of it by skipping that wire, maybe a weak 1/8 inch between wraps. Down to the end, and just fold that back and wrap it around a few times so it gets attached well. Cut the excess off. Now we'll do our finishing knot underneath the tail.
Based on what nationality. I don't have to watch it. It's so political right now.
And then the last thing we'll do, we'll flare out the tail and cut it off. It somewhat looks like a in the top.
All the way around. Perfect.